Hi, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Dentist's Coffee Time. So, have you ever stopped to think that maybe the work we do every day has more in common with a sculpture in a museum than a typical medical procedure? Well, in this explainer, we're going to take a journey all the way from ancient Greece to the modern art world to unlock a totally new way of looking at our profession.
And that brings us to the big question, right? The one at the heart of everything we do in aesthetic dentistry. Is a perfect smile a medical need, or is it truly a work of art? To even begin to answer that, we can't start in a dental clinic. We have to go way, way back to the ancient world. So let's dive right in. We'll start by looking at where our ideas of beauty even came from. A time when art wasn't about what you personally liked, but was deeply tied to ideas of power and, a much higher purpose. As you can see on this timeline, the whole reason for making art has changed a lot. Back in Greek antiquity, it was all about showing the perfection of the gods. Then, that completely shifted in the Middle Ages to become a tool for religious devotion. And it wasn't until the Renaissance that beauty started to become its own thing, separate from a purely religious job. Yeah, back in the classical era, beauty wasn't really for personal enjoyment. It was a tool, a very powerful one. Its main job was to represent divine power, to make the gods look perfect, powerful, and totally awe-inspiring. Beauty was serving something much, much bigger than any one person. And this slide just shows how dramatic that change was. On one side, you've got the Greek ideal, absolute divine perfection. But on the other, you have the medieval goal, where the whole purpose of beauty gets flipped on its head. It becomes a way to show religious suffering and faith. The focus shifts completely from perfection to deep, human-like emotion. And then the Renaissance happened. This changed everything. Artists began to explore beauty just for the sake of beauty, slowly pulling it away from its purely religious role. Suddenly, beauty could be about the human experience, not just about worship. And all of this set the stage for a really pivotal moment in history, what you could call the great divorce between art and what we traditionally think of as beauty. So by the time we get to the modern era, that connection between art and classical beauty was basically shattered. Artists suddenly realized they didn't have to make something pretty. Instead, art became this incredible vehicle for expressing an inner world, all about emotion, big ideas, and brand new ways of seeing. Think about movements like Cubism or Impressionism. They weren't just painting reality, they were taking it apart and putting it back together. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The goal wasn't to create a perfect copy of the outside world anymore. It was to express an inner image, a feeling, an idea, a perspective about the world. Art had turned inward. But this great separation leaves us with a huge question. I mean, if art doesn't have to be beautiful, then what in the world is it? To answer that, we need a whole new framework for thinking. And to find that framework, we're going to turn to the novelist Leo Tolstoy. He came up with a revolutionary definition of art that honestly has nothing to do with beauty and everything to do with feeling. So check this out. For Tolstoy, art isn't a thing, it's a process. It's about one person consciously passing on a feeling they've actually lived through, using some kind of external sign, so that other people are literally infected by that same feeling and experience it for themselves. It's all about that emotional transfer. So you can basically think of it as a 4-step recipe for art. Number 1, the artist feels something. Number 2, they create an external sign, like a painting or a song. 3, they consciously bake that feeling into the work. And 4, the audience is infected and feels that exact same thing. If you hit all 4 steps, according to Tolstoy, you've created art. Okay, so here is where it all comes together. Let's take this really powerful definition and apply it, step by step, to what we do in aesthetic dentistry. This is where theory meets the real world. So let's ask our question one more time, but now using Tolstoy's framework. Can a perfectly crafted set of anterior crowns truly be called a work of art? Let's see if it actually fits the model. This table just makes the connection so clear, it's incredible. Just look at the process side by side. A painter feels joy, and they create a painting. An aesthetic dentist envisions health and harmony, and they fabricate veneers. The painter puts the work in a gallery, the dentist bonds the restorations onto the patient. And in both cases, what's the final step? The audience, whether it's a gallery visitor or the patient, experiences that initial feeling the creator wanted to share. The process, it's identical. So when you think about it this way, you are not just fixing teeth. The restoration you make is your external sign. The feeling you're consciously transmitting is one of health, of harmony, and most importantly, of confidence. And your audience? It's not just the patient in the chair, it's the whole world that they're going to smile at. You know, when we start to see our work as a genuine art form, it gives it so much more meaning. But it also makes us ask some pretty big questions about the future of our profession and how we even think about aesthetics.
So, if there is one key takeaway from all of this, it's this. Aesthetic dentistry fits Tolstoy's definition of art like a glove. It takes technical skill, yes, but it also demands a clear concept and, crucially, the conscious transmission of a feeling, like confidence, from you to your patient.
Which leaves us with a final thought for the future. As technology like AI becomes more and more involved in aesthetic design, how do you think our very human idea of what makes a smile beautiful is going to change? I'd love to hear what you think, so please share your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching. This is Dentist Coffee Time. Bye-bye.